What's up guys, it's Will back again, and today's review is The Neon Demon. The Neon Demon is a 2016 psychological thriller film that was directed by Nicholas Winding Refn and was first requested to me by Alonso Ford back on my The Grey review that I released back on August 29th. I know it's been a while since I've been able to get to any of these requests, but it's been incredibly tough to get to these as well as all the new releases I need to review as well. But before we start, I do want to ask you guys, would you rather see more requests reviewed like these, or do you prefer the balance shifted more towards new releases? I'd love to hear your thoughts, so please let me know your preferences in the comments below because they'll help give me a better idea as to what type of content you guys prefer. But anyway, The Neon Demon primarily follows Ellie Fanning's character Jessie, a 16-year-old girl from Georgia that moves out to Los Angeles with the hopes of becoming a professional model. Eventually, Jessie makes a couple of friends who work in the industry, as well as a young man by the name of Dean, who all play a vital role in how she adapts to her new surroundings. Those who work in the modeling industry are immediately blown away by Jessie's natural beauty and modeling ability, and as she begins to attract the attention of powerful people in the industry, she starts to make some enemies. And the rest of the film is spent watching the transformation of Jessie from quiet Georgia girl to full-on professional LA model, while we also get a glimpse into the film's portrayal of the modeling industry and beauty itself as Jessie's peers begin developing hate for her natural prowess. Okay, so I actually had some high hopes for this one because it was directed by Nicholas Winding Refn. The only movie of his that I've actually seen, to be completely honest, is his 2011 film Drive starring Ryan Gosling, which was absolutely fantastic. And I hope Neon Demon, albeit a very different film, would be an equally captivating experience. It doesn't quite reach that level of exceptionalism though, because while Neon Demon is a pretty average experience overall, there are some things that just feel very forced into this story. Firstly, I know this will kind of feel like we're jumping around a little bit here, but I feel like the climax and really the third act as a whole feels very over the top and kind of ridiculous. For most of Neon Demon, the film engages you with the presentation and discussion of intellectual topics like the importance of beauty in our society, jealousy and how it consumes us, feelings of inadequacy, and so forth, and the third act basically just throws all that out the window in exchange for balls to the wall grotesque horror. I think if Neon Demon had taken a different approach than the one it actually elected to for the final act, the film would have resonated with me much more than it actually did. There are some scenes in the tail end of this film that are pretty goddamn disgusting, and I just don't feel like they really needed to be there because the tone differs so drastically from the rest of the film. It almost felt like Nicholas Winding Refn thought to himself, we need something crazy to happen in the final act. Let's throw this in there and this and this. That'll really shock and appall them. It just feels unnecessary and out of place. Another gripe I had with this film is some of the dialogue and character actions. Before you ever really hit the third act, the characters will at times do or say things that just feel silly and melodramatic. And you could argue maybe that's just who they are as people, but that really doesn't make the feeling of ridiculousness diminish in any significant way. The characters as a whole, besides Jessie, are all pretty underdeveloped, and when there are attempts at development, they often happen so abruptly that it's just shocking and sometimes laughable. There's no gradual development of the supporting characters because they just go from friendly or slightly jealous kind of dramatic women to violent murdering psychopaths. The development of the supporting characters overall is pretty lackluster. Okay, so now that we got that out of the way, let's transition to the good. Something I really enjoyed about Neon Demon was how the first 2/3 of it is really thought-provoking. Like I said before, the film gets you thinking about a lot of really deep concepts that are kind of buried and locked away in our subconscious, even though some live their lives based on these values. I think regardless of whether you're an aspiring model or not, there's several things about Jessie's story that are relatable to a wide range of people. The way that Neon Demon tackles these controversial physical and environmental topics is pretty unique and interesting at the very least. The film also has a very cool visual identity. There are a lot of scenes that are shot in pretty damn artistic and beautiful ways that really add a lot to the somewhat visual heavy experience. I think if you've seen or plan on watching Neon Demon, the visuals will likely be something that you remember about the film looking back on your experience as a whole. And finally, I think this is a pretty well acted film too. Ellie Fanning was really great, and I think she has a very bright future ahead of her. She led the way and delivered an on-screen transformation that was very, very impressive to watch. Jessie is not at all the same person at the end of the film that she was at the beginning, and all the various subtleties that Ellie Fanning brought to the character worked like a charm. I also enjoyed the supporting women in Jena Malone, Bella Heathcote, and Abbey Lee. Without these three compelling performances, these characters would be throwaways altogether, and this film would fail in other ways. While I do feel these three are pretty underdeveloped characters overall, I don't lay the character shortcomings at the feet of the actresses. They're asked to do some pretty crazy things here, and they sold me on their abilities 100%. But overall, The Neon Demon is a kind of mixed experience. I thought it had some great commentary on social and environmental topics, a very strong visual identity, and some really good acting performances. Sadly, I also felt the third act and climax felt over the top and ridiculous. The strong tone of the film curiously gets abandoned later on, some of the character actions and dialogue feel silly, and the character development among the supporting characters was greatly lacking. I'm going to give The Neon Demon a 6.5 out of 10 and only recommend it to those who enjoy this kind of unusual thriller film and can handle some disturbing imagery. It's on Amazon Prime for all interested. So did you guys see The Neon Demon yet? What did you think of it? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And if not, let me know whether you'd be interested in watching this film or not. And as always, if you like this video, click that like button. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel for much more content like this. Thanks again to Alonso Ford for the request, whose channel link you can find in the description below. I'm trying to make my way through these as quickly as possible for you guys, so just hang tight. That's all for now though. This is WillFoxification signing off. See you in the next review.